When you name something the Karizma, the expectations are always going to be high. And this is the new Karizma XMR. And let's find out what it's all about. Hey guys, so we've been riding the XMR, the Karizma XMR, and it's been interesting, a lot of interesting revelations. Let's discuss whether the name Karizma is worthy on this bike. So let's start with the performance side of things. Well, this engine is a sporty engine. It's a rev-happy engine. It doesn't like to sit idle around 3,000, 4,000 RPM. It likes to be around 6, 7, 8,000 RPM. That's where all the power is. But surprisingly, there is enough bottom end torque. You still need to be around 3,000-4,000 RPM. It's not magical amount of torque, but there is a certain amount of torque which doesn't make city ride boring. But yeah, it's a very peaky engine. All the fun, actual fun, the rev happy fun is post 7,000 RPM. That's where it really pulls forward, gives you some goosebumps. Okay, this is what I'm all about. And so all the life is above at 7,000 RPM. Talking to refinement levels, post 7,000 RPMs, there are some vibes on the pegs. There are some very mild vibes on the handlebars. Nothing too irritating, nothing too bothersome. Cruising, probably you can sit at just below 7,000 RPM at 100. We really didn't have enough time actually. We didn't have enough roads actually to test a top speed, but it can do about 120 easily, 120 cruise easily. I would suggest keep it about 100, 110. That's the most relaxed cruising speed on this one. Top speed, I'm going to guess it's going to be northwards of 135, close to 140 even, but yeah, it's not meant for those kind of speeds. Cruise at about 100, 110 and you'll still have enough overtaking power for something that you want to quickly get rid of. That's a proper cruising speed. So being the rev happy engine that it is, it sounds good as well. It does remind you of the RS200 in some ways. In fact, the whole dynamics, ergonomics of it also sort of reminds you of that. But higher up in the revs and everywhere, it sounds beautiful. It doesn't feel like you're stressing out the engine. It's as much hard as you can rev it. It sort of tells you like, hey, I can do this, I'm more fun higher up in the rev. In that way, the engine is very sorted and feels very non-stressed even at the higher RPMs. So coming to the handling and ergonomics, I'll start with the ergonomics first. I think this is a very comfortable riding position. It is not exactly relaxed like you want you have it on a cruiser. It's not committed like something like the R15 or the RCs. It's very close again to the RS. It's not too bad, it's not too committed. In fact, I feel it's a little bit more relaxed than the RS. So this feels good for your daily commute and in fact for touring as well. So I would actually love this sort of a sitting riding position for touring. Another key feature that enhances the whole ergonomics is that you don't feel like you're sitting on the bike, you're sitting in the bike. You feel one with the bike, so it looks sharp and long, but in reality it's not that big, and it's not once you sit on it you don't feel that you're riding a big bike, or you don't have that sort of that weight or anything that it comes onto your palms or knees. You can flat foot easily, so it's very confidence inspiring riding position. Talking about the suspensions, well, I think these are really comfortable suspensions for city and touring. It's now set at 2, basically. It's from the softest, it is 2 up, so that is still quite soft and plush for the city use. Took it over potholes and speed breakers, everything it handled surprisingly well actually. The front also soaks it up, so not maybe the most aggressive tight suspension if you want to take it to a track or something, considering the engine character. It's still quite soft. I would really enjoy something like this while commuting and touring. So when it comes to actual handling, the bike feels very light and nimble. You can throw it around, squeeze through traffic, you can take some fast corners on this. It's so light that the minimal input, you sort of get it to turn very easily, and even the turning radius etc. is very small. Suppose you want to take a U-turn, there's no weight. It's just about 163 kgs, right? That makes it feel really easy to maneuver in traffic. And again, but surprisingly, it feels planted on the highways as well. So when you're doing like triple-digit speeds on the highway, wind blast doesn't really affect it. It's not that bad. It feels very planted on the highways. But they managed to get that balance quite well, and it handles really comfortably. Not the track handling. I'm talking about daily use and the touring, and in that perspective, it handles the whole package is actually really quite good. So let's talk about the braking now. Well, it has got dual channel ABS. That is good any day. But I seriously wish that the front had more bite because at sometimes you really wish it stopped quicker, especially when you're jamming the brakes. When you're riding different bikes, sort of get used to the braking distances. But I came to this bike from a couple of other street bikes, and then I'm not going to name them, not create any controversy, but I wish the sharpness of the initial bite was much more stronger, and that gives you much more confidence of, that it's going to stop where you want it to. It took a little bit longer. Probably I need to get more used to the bike to adjust to this one's braking distance and timings. But yeah, I wish the initial feel was a bit more sharper. Okay, let's talk about the build quality. Well, there have been corners cut to meet this price. Let me put it that way. But nothing that will compromise the overall life of the vehicle. And there are some not so great looking plastic bits here and there. There are some not so great looking belts, but nothing that will compromise the machine in any way. It is built to a price, quite evidently. In terms of features, well, you have a LCD display. It's not a full TFT display where you get a full color display, but it's not bad. It looks good. It's quite clear during the day. It's got the basic information. You got average fuel economy, range. It's pretty decent. Then you have the adjustable visor. Basically, there's a button over here, and you just you can move it up and down. It's not a huge difference in terms of height, maybe about an inch. I personally have not seen a difference keeping it low and high, but I think maybe for different heights of riders, it might make a difference. Nice to have, nice to talk to your friends about it, but how effective it is, maybe a taller visor, it would be more effective. Another feature is that there's a USB charger right next to where you put the key. It's got a nice waterproof cover, so I kind of like the positioning because you tend to keep your devices in this area, so you don't need to have a long cable that's dangling all about. And coming to the headlight, well, it's typical LED. When you have a lot of other lights, it's gone, and when you have like a little bit low light situation, it's everywhere. I wish it was brighter so that you can keep some higher speeds for night riding, but it does the job city riding, and touring maybe on the highways in the nights, maybe about 70 should be comfortable. Higher than that, you probably need to put aux lamps or something to get above 80, 90. If you're wondering about the pillion seat, well, for city use it's fine. It's a small-ish seat, and you find for the city use, but for long rides it's kind of small where you constantly want to adjust yourself in different parts of the seat. So for long rides, maybe tours, maybe above 100 kilometers, not recommended with the pillion. But yeah, for city use, absolutely fine. So is this worth the Karizma name tag that's on it? Well, I'm going to call it the XMR because the old Karizma was all about the comfort and all about comfort for both the rider and pillion, and it is all about the bottom end torque as well, right? Okay, no huge top speeds and not great mileage as well for the time. The XMR is a very comfortable motorcycle, not as much as the previous generation. Let's not compare it with the old Karizma. It's a totally new motorcycle. It's called the XMR. It's fast, it's quite peppy, it loves to be revved hard, it's comfortable for the rider. You can do your city commute on it, you can do long rides on it, and you can have a lot of fun on it. And there are some bits and pieces I wish were different, but overall it's a good package for the price that it's coming at, and it's a very competitive price. And I believe that the XMR is a lovely new motorcycle from Hero Motocorp.